Hi everyone, it's Michelle with Country Morning Creations, and I'm here with kind of ramblings, musings, show and tell, and the 10 crafty questions that are going around. I was nominated by Dawn from the Bookvandal Shop. I love the story of her name. She'd actually shared that with me before, and I thought that was really cool how she got the name. So I wasn't going to do this because I really don't like doing these kinds of things where everybody's doing the same thing and want to do something different. So I'm going to kind of use the 10 questions as guidelines and share some stuff about me, because I figure you guys haven't seen me, you don't know me, you just have seen all my little tutorials and flip throughs and things of that nature, but you actually don't know who I am. So I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I live way out in the country. I live in a little town called Elbert, and it's in Colorado. We're about an hour from either Denver or the Springs, but we're due east. So we're technically high plains desert out here. About 10 years ago, I had a good friend of mine tell me I had an inner country girl, and eventually it was going to come out. And I laughed at him at the time because I was actually at that time doing pageants. So, pageants. For the last 10 years, I have been in the pageant industry. And that's actually what I come out of. I'd been in the pageant industry as a contestant, as a judge, as a coach. So I used to coach young women to be successful. A big part of that was interview. So I've also successfully coached people around the world in their interview skills. My degree from Penn State, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, is actually interpersonal communications. And I found that I've used that over the years. I actually have over 35 years experience as an educator. I have taught everything from preschool through, I now teach middle and high school family and consumer science, known as FACS, used to be known as home ec. I have taught adult ed, I have taught college courses, I have just taught everything. So really, in my heart, I'm a teacher. So I love doing tutorials and helping people learn how to do things. Even though there's a million tutorials out there, maybe I'm gonna say it a little bit differently that's gonna help someone connect better and learn how to do it better. So that's kind of why I do tutorials, not just flip-throughs. So the question was, how did you name your, come up with the name that you're using? And so mine is Country Morning Creations. That's YouTube, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. Over on Etsy, it's actually Country Morning Shop. I couldn't fit Country Morning Creations on the whole thing, so I had to shorten it to Country Morning Shop. But if you look for Country Morning, it's there. When I started out, because I had come out of the pageant industry, I believe that my original name was something like Crown Creations or Gold Crown Creations or something like that. I can't even remember it. I decided that I was tired of the pageant industry. I think that we all go through seasons of life where something really excites us for a period of time and then it's time to move on. I love that about life, where nobody is tied to doing one thing all your life. As a matter of fact, I was over 50 when I became a public school teacher. So even though I had been in education, I had actually taught in public schools, I hadn't become a licensed teacher in public schools. This is now my 4th year actually doing that. I started out as a sub. So, there's seasons to life. So I was coming out of the pageant industry. I actually officially closed my coaching business in December. I decided I needed something that reflected more of who I was. I have come to embrace my inner country girl, living on 3,400 acres where there are over 100 cow-calf pairs, lots of crops, and the most awesome thing is my family's not responsible for any of that. A local family leases all the land to do all that. But I get to see newborn calves, I get to see crops being planted, growing around me, and then being harvested. It's really a cool kind of circle of life thing, and I really love it. I love living in a small town. My school is about 200 students, and that's pre-K through 12. So that's my inner country girl. So I knew I needed country in there somewhere. And I wanted to create a feeling of mornings. I had started journaling last September. If you follow me at all, you know I make a monthly journal because that's how my brain works. I can only do 1 month at a time. I really admire all you people out there that can grab a big hunkin' journal and journal in it until it's done and then move on to your next one. I need a stop and a start. My brain just will not, those terrify me. I can't fill one of those out at all. So I get up in the morning, I have a cup of coffee, and I sit and journal every morning. So I thought, okay, mornings for me in the country are very relaxed. And I felt like that would better convey that my journals are relaxed. They're things that you can just journal in. I leave tons of spaces for writing. I don't fill up every page with collaging or tons of tags or all that kind of stuff. It's just there for journaling. So that's where I came up with the name Country Morning Creations. Now I'm going to grab my questions because I can't remember what all they were. That was kind of the first question. I'm not really sure how they get bumped together because I watched Dawn's video. So this is going to be like telephone. Probably by the time I nominate someone and they nominate someone, those 10 questions will be very different from what the person who started all this originated with. Favorite craft. So my favorite craft currently are handmade journals. I love making handmade journals. I'm going to do a little bit more show and tell with you. So how I got started with them was back when I started making, when I was in pageants. A lot of times in the interview portion, there's questions about hobbies and what do you do outside of pageants. I didn't have any. I have been a busy mom. I've raised 4 children. My youngest just moved out. As a matter of fact, this is his room. When he moved out, he told me to turn it into my craft room. So I was very excited to do that, and I'm kind of about halfway there. It's messy, it's trash, it's creative, you know, right? So when I started working, golly, it has been almost 4 years ago. When I started working at my school, I work with Kim, who is Serene Bookworks, and I'm gonna link her below. But when I started working there, she gave me a junk journal. So this was the first journal I received. It's just this gorgeous thing. Kim is so creative. I mean, it's just full of pockets and all kinds of goodies. So this was actually the first journal I received. I am also now a proud owner of another one of her journals. I won this actually in a silent auction. Look at how thick this thing is. I have added nothing to this journal. And one of the things I love doing is just every once in a while, I take it off the shelf and I just flip through it. It's full of so many great ideas. So this thing is gorgeous. But after getting both of these and talking to Kim a little bit, she explained that she made these out of manila envelopes, you know, the kinds you mail things in. So I thought, okay, I can do that. So then this was my first journal that I made, and it's not fabulous. I wanted dangles. I didn't know how to make them, so I kind of made something that looked like dangles. I made a tie. I put lace. I glued lace. There is no stitching in this. So my first journals didn't have any stitching in them. So this was one that I made just for me. Then I took some Nick the Booksmith classes, and that's where my love really blossomed, because now I felt more confident doing what I was doing. When I was making those, I really hadn't watched many tutorials. I didn't know what I was doing. So after taking several Nick the Booksmith classes, I now make lots of journals, and you can see all of those in my previous videos. Warned you, this would be rambling, so stick with me. All right, the next question was my favorite shop for crafts. Living this far out in the country, it's at least an hour to get to the closest Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Joann's are even further away because they're up in the big cities like Denver and or down in the Springs, and they're just not close. So my favorite place to get all of my craft stuff is scrapbook.com. They're located out of Arizona, and living in Colorado, it takes me a couple of days to get whatever it is I want. They have great prices. I watch for sales. A lot of times, because I signed up for their emails, I get discount codes, so I get my discounts from them. And then I'm not spending half my day going to get maybe some scrapbook material or something I need for a scrapbook. So I love scrapbook.com, and that's scrapbook, all one word, period, com. Look them up. I highly recommend them. They're great. I don't know if they deliver outside of the United States, but in the United States, they are by far my favorite because they'll just ship everything to my P.O. box. I pick it up and keep going. So I love scrapbook.com. My favorite, 5 favorite YouTube channels. Okay, only 5. Nope, can't do it. Let's see how many. I made a list. So my first one has to be Nick the Booksmith. She's kind of where I started watching videos. Kim recommended a couple of people to check out. She was one of them. No, I'm not related to her. I even showed a YouTube video recently from Nick in my classroom, and the kids thought it was me. Apparently we sound a lot alike. No idea why. Small gene pool, I don't know. It's not me. I'm not related at all to Nick, other than we both live in the same state. We both live in Colorado. I love Yvonne Preston. Her style is something I aspire to. I would love to make covers and tuck spots and things the way she does, and she does fabulous tutorials. As a matter of fact, she just started a whole segment of tutorials. So I love all her journals. They are gorgeous. One of these days, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and buy one of them. They are gorgeous, and she cranks them out. She'll crank out 4, 5, 6 a week. So I love Yvonne. Charlene, Sherrod, or Sherrod, I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. Charlene, sorry. As far as I know, she only does flip throughs. But again, I love her voice. I love to just listen to her. She has great journals. She does a variety of different kinds of journals. I know that I found her actually through a Nick the Booksmith Facebook group that you get when you take some of Nick's classes. She just has great journals. She does a lot of vintagey things. They're beautiful. She uses a lot of printables from all over the place. Love her stuff. I know I'm gonna butcher this one because it's Spanish, but it's Vintage Romanticas. And all of these I'm gonna link below, so don't worry. I don't speak Spanish. I studied French, Italian, and German, but not Spanish, so I can sometimes understand Spanish. All her videos are in Spanish, but I just like to follow along. She does a great job demonstrating how to make things. I love her shabby chic style. So I love her. Junk Journal Joy is another one that I love. That's another YouTube channel that I love to watch. She has tons of great tutorials, flip throughs, things like that. Again, it's interesting. She started doing hers in 2 different languages. So she'll go back and do the same video or dub the same video in English. So even if you don't speak her language and you speak English like I do, then you can watch hers. And then my last shout out, I know I was only supposed to do 5 and I think this is 6, is Mad Paper Crush, because she has been so encouraging to me this whole time. And so I love hers. She's got great tutorials, and so you definitely have to go over there. So that was kind of my top 6. Again, told you I was only using these as guidelines, and I will nominate my 4 out of that group. Favorite color. Okay, gotta tell this story because you're not gonna get it if I don't. My favorite color is actually cranberry red. Now, the reason I know it's cranberry red is because we used to live in Virginia. I searched for hours because I wanted to paint our little powder room red. I finally found the perfect paint chip, bought a gallon of the paint, painted that bathroom. It was cranberry red. Then when we moved to Colorado and we redecorated our dining room, for whatever reason, I wanted to paint the walls red again. I spent hours pouring over paint chips, very carefully selected the best color. When I got home and showed it to my husband, he started laughing. He said, you know, we have a gallon of that in the basement from when you painted the bathroom that exact same color. So my favorite color is cranberry red. Clearly I pick it over and over and over again. So that's my favorite. Oh, favorite craft tools. Okay, I can't pick a favorite. I'm gonna go over a whole bunch of them. One of the first ones is these, they're not needle nose, they're rounded on the ends, and I love these for crafting with beads. They're great, and I don't even know where I picked them up or what brand they are, but I have these. So you can see they've got those round, and they're perfect for making things round and working with those little tiny things. Next, I bought a whole bucket of scissors that had all different kinds of shapes to them, other than just my pinking shears. And these two, you can kind of see what the, I don't know if you can see that or not, but those are the two different designs that they make. So one's a little bit more zigzag and one's a little bit more just soft waves. I love these for cutting paper out. Let's see. Oh, this little thing. All right, I know a lot of people are into using the makeup brushes, the makeup sponges, all that stuff. I saw Tim Holtz demonstrate one of these things and I bought it, and this is what I love to use. So to me, this is worth it. And I love, they come off. And so what I do is I have a different color one of these. I have two handles and I have a different color one of these for every single one of my different distress oxides. And so when I'm done with it, I just take it off and leave it with that particular distress oxide so I can find it and use it again. I know a lot of people say they're really rough on these. I've been using this one for months and it's still in good shape. So I love this foam blender. Another one, I know a lot of people have moved away from Fabric Fix. Some of the new glues I've looked at, ounce for ounce, are the exact same price as this. So I just stick with my Fabric Fix. Oh, hang on. This thing, I use this a lot. This is a crocodile. I use it for making holes. I use it for putting in grommets. So I love that it makes a smaller hole than a hole punch. That's probably why I use it a lot. I just found out I use hardboard in all my covers, and somebody said it will actually go through the hardboard. So I'm gonna try it. Hopefully I don't mess it up and ruin it, but I'm gonna try actually punching a hole through hardboard with this thing. I'm guessing it'll work, hopefully, fingers crossed. Then let's see if I can get this out. This is my Sizzix Big Kick. Oh, this thing is heavy. They finally came out with one that folds up so it doesn't take up as much space, but I love, love, love this thing. And then, last but not least, and I just scored this item. Okay, this makes me so excited because this has been discontinued for years. Somebody, and oh, if I think of her name now, sorry, I totally drew a blank. I got this from somebody off of Etsy, and I'll try to find her shop and link it below as well. She had two of these for sale. They were in the original packaging with all the stickers and everything on it still from when, I don't know whether she got it when they originally were going out or how she got a hold of them, but she posted on Instagram that she had two of these in her Etsy shop, and I just didn't even hesitate. I ran over there and I grabbed one of them because I have wanted this forever. And I've actually been looking for probably a year and a half for one of these. So I love all my stuff. And I bought a ton of We Are Memory Keeper things too, so I'm gonna be doing some tutorials coming up on how those work. Where did your love of crafting come from? 4-H. I actually grew up in a small rural community in Maryland, and I joined 4-H probably 2nd or 3rd grade. I stuck with it all the way through my senior year, which I know is really unusual. I did more of the sewing and cooking than the animal stuff. But I did do like dog pet care, I think. I know I did babysitting. So they kind of have merit badges like Boy Scouts, but instead of earning patches and things, we submit our stuff to our local fairs. That's where we get graded and judged and whatever. And I'm proud to say that I was even a state finalist in sewing. So I started out with sewing. That was a big part of it. Then I did some counted cross stitch in my early 20s, loved that. Then started having kids and had no time to craft, honestly. Then I went to a Stampin' Up! Party. So I made homemade like cards for a long time. I still do. Then, like I said earlier, I got into junk journals because I really wanted to develop something outside of just boring life. I wanted something I could do that was creative again. And thank you, Kim, for introducing me to the wonderful world of junk journals. Let's see what else. When did you first start crafting? I kind of talked about that I started out crafting when I went to a Stampin' Up! Party, probably, golly, maybe 20 years ago now. It was back when I lived in Virginia. We've lived in Colorado 17 years now, so it was before I moved here to Colorado, so it was a long time ago. And my favorite craft so far. So my favorite craft so far has got to be making junk journals. I made a ton of them before I would even consider selling them. I've taken lots of classes, so hopefully they come out pretty nice. I'm currently working on a botanical themed journal. And I've learned so much, and I'm finally to the place where I'm expanding and making other things from what I've learned and creating completely new things. So I love, love, love that. I love being creative. And if you've watched my videos, you know I encourage everyone at the end that I hope some way, somehow, that I've encouraged you to be creative, that something has sparked something in you and is encouraging you to be creative. Even if you don't make junk journals, do something. Create a journaling page, do some collaging, take your junk mail and make a journal. You don't have to go out and spend tons of money to make a junk journal. They literally take the junk you have around your house and make one. So no matter what it is, I really, really hope that I can encourage you to be creative. So with that, I think that's the end of the 10 questions. I'm showing my face today because Dawn said I had to. She said, Michelle's never shown her face in any of her videos. So I thought, well, okay, you can see my face. So I have to nominate 4 other people. I'm going to just kind of pick some of these out of here. And I may be nominating someone who's already been nominated. That's okay. These are people I would love to see do their video and answer these 10 questions. So I'm going to nominate Nick the Booksmith, Yvonne Preston, Charlene Sherrod, and Mad Paper Crush. And I'm sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank on your name right now, but I will tag all of you on Instagram so that you know you've been tagged, and I cannot wait to see your videos. So I hope that somewhere in all of these ramblings, musings, and 10 crafty questions that you've gotten to know me a little bit better. You understand my passion for journaling and why I do it. And I hope I've encouraged you to be creative today. Bye.